Good morning and welcome to Limitless, the show that brings you love and inspiration on a Saturday morning. Today, my guest is no stranger to Limitless. She is a British-born international gospel singer, songwriter, and highly rated vocal coach. She's known for gospel hits such as You Revive Me, Power, Wave It Away, Lamb of God, and so many more. She has sung all over the world, selling out at concerts, festivals, and conventions. It is my pleasure to welcome Lurine Cato, MBE, on the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
A pleasure. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. You know, the last time you were here, we had a really good talk, talking about ministry, talking about your new single, and of course, you've had it remixed again. Before we talk about that single and listen to it, can you tell me a little bit about what you've been up to? What's God been doing in your life? Any testimonies? Please share.
Oh my gosh, there's been so much. First of all, I want to give God thanks that my children have now finished college and graduated. For me, for a single mum like me, that is an achievement. The fact that both of my children has graduated from college, and they have, for me,
Praise God.
that is just like God. I didn't know we will come this far. Didn't know we will make it this far. So I want to give God thanks for that. That's a celebration. So it's been busy. I'm assigned to Apple. They have a record company called Platoon, and that's been great. And we did some promotions with that. Oh my gosh, what else has been happening? I'm trying to actually think. There's so much. Just singing at loads of different places and going to Norway quite a lot of times. I've been going since last year, October. And I was a guest at a concert with 1,700 children in the choir. And yeah, it was pretty epic. And the organizers also brought my children over to enjoy themselves, and just, it was amazing. It was in a massive arena, and that was great. And I went again this year to do vocal therapy workshop that we did for a few days. I did it with Isaiah Raymond, an amazing host from Norway called Life. He hosted it and everything. So, and people have been rekindling their lives with God or getting to know God since we've been doing it. So it's been quite epic. So there's been so many different things. I can't even put it into words, but put it this way. Oh, and also enjoying doing going to Nottingham. My church in Nottingham, we do church on the streets.
Yeah.
And that has been my pastor has now got her own building with land.
Yes.
And the fact that she's been only going on for about 5-6 years is amazing, and has her own building. And the community have been coming out. They even been turning up for Bible studies, and they even asked her, what's Bible studies? I mean, just the simplest. And it's just been, you just think, wow, God, they're starting from scratch. Kids have been turning up for Bible studies, and they're 14 on their bikes and everything. So that has been wonderful. And just, there's just so much more. So that's been like amazing throughout the year.
Wonderful. Do you know, it's good to hear that, actually, the raw sort of grassroots ministry, evangelism, going out and getting fresh souls. Too often you hear about people moving from church to church to church, To one of my guests recently was mentioning how he's got a massive community of people that have come back to Christ again. So it's revival. I don't know.
Yeah.
Call it. It's like renewing their vows as such. But when you get the fresh ones,
Yes.
They don't know. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What a wonderful celebration that is. That they don't know anything, but then you bring them in. That's really wonderful. Now I know that you've ministered. You not only minister in churches, you also minister in Christian events. You also have sung gospel in front of royalty, politicians, leaders, major events. Please tell us about some of your best events to date.
Oh my God, my best events today. Well, I must admit, my best events is when I actually sing in schools and in prisons.
Yeah.
And I know for some people it's like, what? You're singing in front of, but it is because these are the people that have been sometimes forgotten,
Yeah.
and God is calling out for them too. And I really, I walk in God's authority and love when
Yes.
I go into those places.
Yes.
And when you see the faces of the men and children when I go into schools who are just touched and cry and just like, and they start following me on Twitter and on Instagram, like especially the kids.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm a big 48-year-old woman, and you're getting these 15, 16, 17-year olds or even 12-year olds like, I love you, boys and girls.
I love.
And they are impacted by what I'm saying, my testimony, and you know, so those places are amazing. As a matter of fact, this Friday I'm actually going to be singing at a funeral of a lady who was best friends to the Duke of Kent. And I had the privilege of spending time with her because I actually met her at Wimbledon in the Royal Box. and she invited me and my sister to her house to
Yeah.
stay for a few days. And she even did a dinner party in aid of me, you
Oh,
know.
wow. Yes.
I know, and she passed away recently, so I'll be singing at her funeral this Friday.
Yes.
And so yeah, where I sing, where I minister, it's so diverse, it's so vast, you know, and I thank God for the opportunities, every opportunity.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. God takes you on a perpetual victory parade from place to place. You're just shining. That's absolutely amazing. And you see
Um,
how people are celebrating you and they're celebrating the God in you. It's beautiful.
mm, mm,
You know, you said something interesting just now. You were talking about the young people and how much they celebrate. And a lot of the time, they're just listening to music that sounds really good, a voice that sounds really beautiful, the production that sounds really well put together. They're not really always listening to the words itself, unless it's catchy. But I believe their spirit, the spirit of an innocent young person, you know what I mean? Their hearts are innocent. Their spirit is innocent, you know. They're
mm,
receiving, and they're much wiser than we think. They're much wiser. Gone are the days where they said, you know, children should be seen and not heard. Because
mm,
serious amount of wisdom, you know, that talks about how, you know, in the last days, you know, knowledge will be more widespread. Young people
yes.
know a lot more than we give them account for. You know, have you seen any success stories with that? Any sort of any that God is actually moving in these young people's lives? Because I mean, I can tell you when a young child that one day is effing and blinding, is then turning around saying, "Oh, you know, Reverend Bond, I love the song you did for Jesus." I'm like, praise the Lord. So, could you tell us any sort of stories like that?
I mean, um, oh gosh, what can I say? I mean, put it this way, when I go into these schools, I mean, of course, yes, you know, there's times when I'm in church and I'm ministering to young people as well, and you get loads of them saying, you know, I wasn't really, I had one foot in the world and one foot in church or with God. And when I heard your testimony or I heard you sing or, you know, the way you ministered, it made me change many times. But I tell you what is amazing. And it's when young people at schools send me private messages and say, I wasn't caring about what I was going to do in the future. I wasn't caring about anything regarding being serious about my life or whatever.
Mm.
And then until I heard what you said, or I heard your story, and now I'm doing this, or now I'm doing that. And I'm like, wow. And the thing is that I am sharing my truth. I'm talking about how God delivered me from, 19 years of sexual abuse, how I went from, I bullied people at school because of the hurt and pain I was going through. And then, you know, being excluded from school, being on report. And now with all the success I've had, it's because I can get through it, you can get through it too. When I get those messages from kids that their story changed, my story changed their life, I'm telling you, it is all worth it. Whether it's people in church or out of church. And I've had kids that said, I go to church, but I wasn't serious about church until I heard what you said, what you sang. And for me, it just makes everything worth it. All the trials, all the tribulations, worth it because of those testimonies.
Yes, yes. And indeed, you are for many, you probably are the closest of God. You're the closest thing to God. Do you know what I mean? To them. So to them, you are God. God in you is their hope.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Now I know you as a role model, you also do vocal coaching as well. So tell us about that and how that began and how that's going at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, I have a wonderful story about, because there was a time I didn't like doing it. I
Right.
thought, I cannot deal with this one-to-one vocal training thing. I cannot. And I say, God, please help me love it. Sometimes we go through things in life, and we know we're supposed to show love towards people, or do this or do that, and we don't like it. If you don't have it, ask God to put it inside of you, because we're human, and sometimes life takes things and draw things out of you. So you have to ask God to replace it. And it's okay to do that. He will answer your prayer. And
Yes.
I remember I said to God, please, God, let me love vocal training. And I'll never forget this guy. He was disabled, and he used to play keys in his church. And the praise and worship leader, he was going away for how many months? So he said to him, listen, you better go and learn how to sing, because when I'm gone, you're going to have to lead worship. You're going to have to lead this team and everything. So he came to me for help. So I remember this guy, he had 2 walking sticks. His legs were deformed. And he came to me, and I told him, okay, sing. Let me hear you sing. Let me see what you got.
Yeah.
And this is how he sang. How great is our God. Sing with me. How I thought, Lord, help me.
Oh
How
Lord.
am I going? How am I good? Inside of me, I was like, Lord, is there hope? Is there hope, Jesus? What am I going to do?
I
And
should.
all I could say to him was, if you listen to everything I've told you to do, tell you to do, if you practice every day, you will be on another level.
It's
And I
true.
must admit, I had size of a mustard seed faith when I was saying that, because I was like, I don't know how he's going to do this.
Yeah.
But you know what? After 5 weeks of intense vocal training, he started to sound like this. How great is our God? Sing with me. How great is. And I was like, and apparently when he went back to church, and
Yes.
no one knew that he could sing. No one knew that he could do anything except for play. But when he opened his mouth, I heard that people were on the floor. People
Oh.
were crying. People were blessed. So that's one of my favorite
Yes.
stories about me teaching someone how to sing. And after him, I love doing what I'm doing now more than ever before.
Yes. Yes. And that must be wonderful. Just like that everybody that walks through your door, there's hope.
There's hope.
There's hope for every single person. And I believe that from what you just said to me, that, God, as he prepared the vessel and he worked hard to really craft that, God really did come strong. And the
Yes.
question now has to be, what else are you transferring over as well as a teacher? Because one thing I
Yeah.
do know is that we also transfer the passion as well, don't we? For whatever.
Yeah. Transfer the passion. And also, I've been doing a few more like master classes on for backing vocalists.
Yes.
So it's good for people if they're in choirs, praise and worship teams, or they're backing vocalists for artists and
Mm,
things like that. So I do programs for that as well, and I've got one that's happening later in July, and it's already sold out. It
mm,
was sold out a few weeks ago, and I'm doing one in Birmingham as well on August the 5th. And so what I do, I put, because I've got I'm full of information,
yeah.
and I don't like to keep it to myself.
Good.
I like to give it out to people
Yeah.
because they need it. I want people to flourish. I don't want their gift to be dormant, you
Yeah.
know. So I like to give off what God has put it inside of me and what I've been taught from other people. I
Mm,
always say, you want to be a great singer, be around people who sing better than you.
yes.
Because for sure, if I want to be a millionaire, I'm not going to be speaking to someone on benefits.
Yes.
I'm not gonna.
I get
It's
you.
the truth.
True.
I'm not going to be on someone that lives on benefits only. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be around people who are
Yeah.
millionaires, who teach, who know how to get to be a millionaire. And so,
Yeah.
same with singing. If you want to be a great singer, stick around people, talk to them, feed feed off of them, and ask them questions. Sing around them. Ask if you can join to be in their rehearsals, sit in their rehearsals, everything. This is the things that you can do to better yourself. And that's what it's all about, to be hungry and passionate for your gifting and your talent.
Yeah. It's so true. I do really believe that spiritual transference as well. As Elijah and Elijah, look, Elisha was with him and he said, double anointing. I want
Yes,
a double blessing. He wanted his spirit. And he
yes.
get that, didn't he? He did actually get that, he received that in the end. I think that if we are around other people, then the mission that they're on, and you can see this with
Mm,
Esther as well, where you've got a heart for the mission that God has given her and you're working with her. You find that whatever it is, whichever direction that person is going, like for instance, if you're part of a ministry where it is highly prophetic, you will start prophesying.
yes,
If you're part of a ministry that was heavily evangelical, you will receive that sort of the grace to be able to do that. So I think that singing has its own graces as well. Most definitely.
absolutely. You are a product of your environment, you
Exactly.
know, and
Mm,
so make sure that you're in the right environment. If
yeah.
you feel like you've been at this level for 5 years, 6 years, something is wrong.
Yeah.
Look at who's around you. Look
Mm,
who you surround yourself with. You
yes.
know, Jesus made sure he had the disciples with him everywhere.
Yeah.
At times, he will go off and pray. And he will say, could you not just spend 1 hour with me? And they actually asked him as well, teach us how to pray, because you're doing bits out here. You're
Yeah.
doing things you're
Yeah.
doing things and miracles, and we need to get a grasp of all of this.
Yeah.
So the more they stayed around him, the more they were like him. My
Yes.
God.
Yeah.
So so make sure you are around the right people, the right environment, because remember, you are going to be a product of your environment. So make sure you have like-minded people who celebrate you and also encourage you when you're down.
Yeah.
But they don't keep you down. They lift you up when you are down. And
Yes.
they're not just with you when you've got good, great things happening with you. They are with you when the chips are down. They
Yeah.
are with you when you're feeling that, when you want to give up. They are with you when you are succeeding massively above them, and they are with you when things all fall apart.
Yes, most definitely. Definitely being around the right people. And as you said, being, because you will be a product of your environment. The other thing as well is just also to remember there are people out there. I think this has just come to my spirit that there are people out there who may have received a prophecy where the Spirit of God has given them an actual prophecy, or someone has spoken, a prophet, prophetic voice has given them the words of God, but they're not seeing it come into manifestation. Years are going by, and they're not walking in that. What do
Mm.
you think they need to do? Because I think that this has got a lot to do with who they're around. Their mind.
Mm.
What are you doing? So could you give people out there right now who might be going through that some kind of advice? How do you break through in a situation where it seems dry, but God has given you an actual, giving you a word, giving you a promise, but you don't see it happening?
Yeah, a good friend of mine, Isaiah Raymond, I asked him this very same question when I used to get so much prophecies, and I'm like, I saw some or flickers of it happen in my life, but
Yeah.
not really manifesting. So he said, Lurine, go back to those prophecies,
Yeah.
read it through, or if someone might have recorded it, record it, or you might remember it from how many years, write it down,
Yeah.
read it, pray on it, ask God, what is the strategy? How do I get there?
Yeah.
What do I need to do? Then he might say to you, you might have to drop off some people. You might have to work on yourself and some things, because where much is where much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
And that is the thing, is that you've got to be open to what he needs to do through
Yeah.
you and inside of you,
Yeah.
because he can't give you those things unless you are ready. Even though David was anointed king when he was young, he still had to go through a process
Most definitely.
before he was in that position. There was tests that he had to go through. There
Yeah.
is things that he had to do before he could wear that crown.
True.
So some people go, oh, so some people, they get a prophecy and they try to get there quickly, and then they see it all fall apart. Well, are you listening to what God is saying?
Mm-hmm.
Did he tell you to move now? Have you prayed on it? Have you fasted on it? Because people don't want to fast these days. Have you prayed? Have you fasted?
Mm.
Are you listening to his voice? Do you know his voice? So
Yes.
these are the things that you need to do. Father, give me a scripture that is that is that is based on this word for
Mm.
me. Show me, talk to me. And if he doesn't say anything, that doesn't mean you move.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Sometimes people hear nothing and they still move. Where you going? Did he say something? Stay. In Jamaica, we say, stay where you're there. Stay there
Yeah.
until he talks to you. And
Yeah.
so that is the most important thing to do with your prophecies and the promises that God has had for you. Pray it through, ask him for strategy, ask him for direction,
Yeah.
and wait and have your pen and paper ready, because he's going to speak, and just be prepared.
Yeah. And you said something that was really important there. Maybe the people that are surrounded by may not be the people that you should be with at this season. Perhaps there are other people you need to be around, because we already know God uses man or woman, humanity, in order to spread his word and also to carry his grace
Mm.
as well. There are many people. Look, even Jesus had to go to John the Baptist to release something to him. And we know John the Baptist was carrying the spirit of Elijah with him, and that needed to be transferred over to Jesus. There are so many times we see in the Bible where the Joshua needed the Moses, and as you linking it back to this thing about being the vocal coach, people out there, you want to learn how to sing, contact this woman. It might be flooded now, I don't know, but you contact her, because in reality, it's who you're around. You're a product of your
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very important thing, you know. And as many times I do get people who sing that say they do worship, and when they come to me, they've got no voice left, and I say, "Are you singing on that sore throat?" They go, "Yeah, yeah, I do it all the time." I'm like, "You're destroying your vocal cords."
Yeah.
But it's not too late to save you. I will tell you exactly what to do. And it's just, you know, God, people are born with gifts, you know, and they, because they get a word, they just go straight ahead and just do it. But you're meant to be around people that can help you nurture it.
Yes.
Nurture you into what you're supposed to do, because everybody needed somebody. you know the only person I say that really didn't have anything to go by was Noah.
It's true.
He had to trust that voice.
Yeah.
He had naysayers around him. The whole city, the whole town, if not the world, was against him.
Yeah.
And he had to believe in that, in what he heard from the Lord. So make sure you're with people that they're not just cheerleaders, but they tell you the truth.
Yes.
Because you can have cheerleaders, it doesn't mean that you're right.
Yes, exactly.
So people that's going to tell you the truth. And I'm talking about the truth that you're not always going to be great at everything. And you might have had a bad day, but they're saying, how you were acting, or you didn't sound too great when you was doing this, and you didn't sound, they're going to tell you the truth. So like you said, being surrounded by the right people is so important.
So true. And thank God we're not living in Noah's time. We get help. It's so true. We don't have to pioneer the move. It's already there. Tap into whoever else is doing it so that you can also fly. Now, of course, you've got a wonderful single now. It's a remix. I want you to talk us through that, and then we're going to watch and listen to the song. Last time you were here, we heard it, but this is a whole new version. So tell us a bit about that.
So this is like an ammo piano version done by Ian Green, who done the original one as well. And it's just, it's more dancey. So, and different type of dancing. So I pray that everyone just enjoy it.
Okay, can you introduce it and then we'll listen to it?
Yes, this is Lamb of God by myself, Lurine Cato.
Enjoy.
Didn't
Amazing. I was dancing. Oh my goodness. I was like, love it. Absolutely love that. I loved the track initially anyway, but of course, this version is a lot more dancey and a bit more upbeat. Loving it. Now, you are one character that's managed to keep yourself relevant throughout all these different years, and you've done so many things within the gospel arena and really have come to represent us as such, within the music industry. What's next? What are we to look forward to next?
Well, you know, I'm definitely looking to do like a live concert
Yeah.
this year. I'm really looking forward to doing that. And gosh, there's different projects that I'm trying to get off the ground. And I'm just trusting God about that. And you know, because timing is everything.
Yes.
And so yeah, and do you know what? I've just done a song actually. I'm featured on a song by actually no, I'm featured on a song, and also on the song is Emmanuel Smith, Tim Hughes. Oh gosh, who else is on this song? This guy called, oh gosh, his name's gone out of my head. Oh, and then Faith Charles is on this song as well.
Ooh.
And we've just like done the music video for it as well.
Yeah.
So it's coming out soon. And I don't even know if I was supposed to mention it, but hey, I'm mentioning it on air today. Exclusive.
Well, thank you for that. That's wonderful. I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, how do people follow you and find out what's going on in your ministry, in your move? How can people stay in connection with you?
Please contact me on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on my website www.lurinecatomusic.com. And yeah, and you can get my music on iTunes, Apple, Amazon, all music vendors. And yeah, Lurine Cato, please message me.
Lovely. Thank you so much once again. An amazing guest. And I look forward to everything else that you're doing. And of course, you coming back on the show again in the future. So it's goodbye now. Time's run out. So goodbye for me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.